There are several fascinating connections between Star Trek the Animated Series and other series and films in the Star Trek legacy. Some links originated in Star Trek the Animated Series. Others are based on ideas, characters, or phenomena consistent with Star Trek lore. Use your remote to select from a list of subjects. In the Star Trek episode, Journey to Babel, we learn that a young Spock had a pet Sailot with 6-inch fangs. In the animated series, Spock's pet Sailot is seen for the first time. Its name is Aichaya. Captain Archer and T'Pol also encounter a Sailot on Vulcan in the Star Trek Enterprise episode, The Forge. In The Trouble with Tribbles, some quickly multiplying furry creatures become a nuisance on the Enterprise. In the animated series, Tribbles are genetically altered to reproduce at a slower rate, but grow fatter and larger. Tribbles can briefly be seen in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, when McCoy visits a bar on Earth. After failed attempts to wipe out their race, some Tribbles were transported to Deep Space Nine. Spock uses the Vulcan mind meld technique on a non-humanoid life form in the Star Trek episode, The Devil in the Dark. Spock mind melds with another sentient, non-humanoid in the animated series. In Star Trek, the motion picture, Spock risks his life to mind meld with the sentient non-humanoid, Voyager. Holographic technology can be seen for the first time in the animated series when the crew enters the ship's recreation room. On Star Trek The Next Generation, the Enterprise D's holodeck simulates limitless holographic environments. Visitors to Deep Space Nine can rent holosuites to create a variety of holographic simulations. The USS Voyager's holodeck also creates limitless simulated environments. Kor is a legendary Klingon warrior who seeks to take over the planet Organia in the Star Trek episode Errand of Mercy. In the animated series, Kor and Captain Kirk must team up to escape a time warp in outer space. In the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Blood Oath, Kor joins forces with fellow Klingon war heroes Koloth and Kang to battle a notorious criminal. In the Star Trek episode The Cage, the Telosians turn Vina into an Orion female to entice Captain Pike. In the animated series, the Enterprise crew meets an Orion female while trapped on Elysia. On Star Trek Enterprise, Captain Archer receives 3 Orion females as compensation for negotiating with the Orion Syndicate. Khan Noonien Singh's superhuman abilities are the result of eugenic experimentation. Singh and his group of eugenic warriors appear again in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. In the animated series, eugenic experiments led to the creation of the giant Dr. Caniclius 5. In the Star Trek Enterprise episode Borderland, genetically altered supermen from the eugenics wars hijack a Klingon ship. In the Star Trek episode The Deadly Years, members of Captain Kirk's crew begin to age rapidly after exposure to a strange form of radiation. In the animated series, rapid aging afflicts Kirk and his crew after encountering a race of beautiful women. On Star Trek The Next Generation, Dr. Pulaski ages rapidly after exposure to genetically engineered children. In the animated series, Captain Kirk says his middle name for the first time, Tiberius. In Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country, the captain's middle name, Tiberius, is heard when Kirk faces murder charges in a Klingon courtroom. In the animated series episode, How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth, a Native American serves on board a Federation starship. On Star Trek Voyager, Commander Chakotay is a Native American serving on board a Federation starship.